RQI Careers is a dynamic UK-based company, tech-driven company, that is committed to helping people navigate the UK job markets, either international professionals, international students, as well as even locals, because we have a lot of locals that we've also helped, fresh graduates, from their bachelors who still do not know how to put together all their journey, or attend the right career upskilling programs, right, to land their desired jobs. So we are committed to helping people, not settle for less. So if that is you do not want to settle for less. You want to know what's more that can be done, right? What's more that can be done? What better can I do, right? RQI Careers is your best bet on your journey. We understand the unique challenges that each and every one of us might be facing, because at some point all the professionals that are going to be on this journey with you, they've been there, they've done that. We are not where we want to be yet, but we are also on the journey, and we are also on the journey, and we believe that we can actually make an impact on your journey as well. So what are our services? So RQI Careers has helped over 1,000 people to land jobs in the UK, as well as other global countries as well, through our services: CV optimization, LinkedIn optimization, interview preparation, career mapping, our career advisory, personal statements, and our bootcamps. Our bootcamps, as you know, we have courses in project management and business analysis, data analysis and business intelligence, Scrum Master and Product Owner, which is coming in the next month. We have MS Excel and PowerPoint, which we believe is a very, in demand and necessary skill that everyone must have. And we also have compliance and KYC. So should you have anybody that right, that project management is not their own thing, but any of all these courses I mentioned, right, is something they are interested in, please do well as to share our platform with them as well. So what's the training objective, right? What is this bootcamp all about? What is a bootcamp, right? So this bootcamp has been put together to provide participants with practical experience, work experience, the essential skills, including soft and technical skills, to actually succeed and start up or elevate your current career in project management and business analysis. Why did we start this bootcamp? Right, for close to 2 years now, we've been supporting people through our services, like I said. However, there was still a gap, right? A lot of people are moving to the UK, right, or moving abroad, moving to different countries, or they've been actually in the UK for a while, right? However, they've not actually found that passion that they really love. They've not actually found an opportunity to make an impact, as well as uplift themselves as well. And sometimes putting together a good CV is not all you need to land a job. You need practical work experience. As we all know, in these environments, a degree does not actually prepare you for the job market. Not only even in these environments, in our bachelors as well, most of us, after our degrees was not actually what shaped our career. It was our first experience actually that shaped the career we now built, and that's why we are very focused on work experience. Most of our boot camps, right, are very focused on giving you that practical work experience, which is prioritized over certifications, over degrees, and all that. So we've put together and designed this course, right, to prepare you for the job market, to make you career ready, from zero experience in project management, to having very key and skills that you need to land your first role as a business analyst or project manager. We have actually had people who have gone on from just boot camps like this to landing even senior roles. Imagine, right? So landing senior roles that people that have even 7 years of experience, 8 years of actual experience in this field, are not actually able to get. However, from going through our very intense bootcamp, we have had success stories of people who have landed, those kind of offers. So you learn about the principles, you learn about the tools, you learn the techniques, and you apply all this in a real project. You would also build soft skills like team management, stakeholder management, effective communication. There's really a lot to be done and learned in this bootcamp. Actually, this bootcamp, the project management and business analysis, is currently, the most favorite of all the bootcamp because of how intense it gets and, the duration and all that. So who can take this course, right? So firstly, aspiring project managers or business analysts. I'm sure that for you to have joined this bootcamp, you must have done a tiny little bit of research about either of these career paths, and, you have an interest. So that makes you an aspiring project manager or a business analyst, So if you have interest in becoming a project manager or a business analyst with zero background, you are in the right place. So also, if you are a professional looking to switch, which is, I believe that will be like 80% of us. We've been working somewhere before, probably we're customer service professionals, probably we're lawyers, probably we're foreign trained lawyers, or even UK qualified lawyers, or, we were relationship managers in financial institutions, or we were, name it really, right? Name it really. So professionals looking to switch their career to more in-demand fields. We're going to talk more about why this career path is actually in demand and why it will still not go into extinction in the nearest future. Degree holders seeking practical work experience. That's also a lot of us, because we know we have a lot of people studying. Oh, I get a lot of mails like, oh, I studied MSc Business Analytics. However, I've seen job descriptions of a business analyst, and I don't think I can do, I don't think I can do most of the things in the job description. Or I studied MSc Project Management, but I don't feel ready enough, right, to apply for a role in project management because I don't have the practical work experience. Some even try to attend some interviews and they keep asking them of scenarios of when they have actually worked on the project and this happened and that happened. How would you be able to talk about this if you actually have not had the experience, right? So that's another kind of set of people that can actually enroll for this bootcamp. Anyone at all who wants to position themselves for visa sponsorship, yes, these career paths, right, and the related ones that you can apply for after the bootcamp actually have a very high potential to help you get visa sponsorship, either from within the UK or outside the UK as well. We'll get to talk about this a little bit more as we proceed on, right? So anyone who wants to enhance their career and, career prospects and earning potential, if you know that, I don't want all those jobs where the highest you can earn, right, is 30K, or the highest you can earn is 20 something K. I want a career path that even if I get my first job and it's 40K today, I know that is just the beginning, right? Because I see jobs that are like £1,000 per day. I see jobs that are like £120,000 per annum, right? That's the kind of career path to position yourself really, such that you are not at the peak of your career, even with the low earning income that you might have. So if that is your goal, I want to earn 6 figures. I want to earn 1,000 per day. I want to earn, well, relatively, depending on what well it means to you. Right, this is the career path to position yourself. I'm not saying that everyone will get a 6-figure job after this bootcamp, right? However, you are already positioned. The most important thing in this journey is about being well positioned. It's about being well positioned, right? So also professionals, entrepreneurs, and small business owners. So you don't want to work for anybody. You have a business. However, you want to acquire project management skills, right, to optimize your process. You want to acquire business analysis skills to optimize your process, to improve your processes, because business analysts are solution providers, right? While project managers, are, they manage the processes, the resources, and all that. You want to be able to manage your resources effectively. You want to be able to manage projects effectively, even as a freelancer, even as an entrepreneur. Then this bootcamp is for you, So I believe I must have talked to like 1 or 2 situations that might fit your situation as well. So what will be covered in this bootcamp, right? So we'll be covering project management, everything you need to know about project management, the methodologies, the techniques, practical, because we are not here to teach you we're not here to teach you theoretical, just sit down, learn and go. No, we are here to teach you what you need to hit the ground running and to land a job as a project manager. So we're going to be having 6 weeks of classes, about 7 weeks of classes, 6 to 7 weeks of classes in projects management, business analysis, and PMO. So if you are not sure which one you want to do, because to be honest, even if you are sure that I want to be a project manager, there's no doubt about it. I don't want to be a business analyst. You would lose nothing, right? For gaining extra knowledge in business analysis, because we get a lot of people, right? They finish a boot camp in project management today, they pay 700 and something pounds. After that, they move on again. Their next step is to take another boot camp again, another 700 and something pounds in business analysis somewhere else. Tomorrow, they might be somewhere else trying to get PMO. But the thing is that you don't need to do all that. In our boot camp, you get to learn the three for the cost of one. You get to learn, because the thing is that our own motto is that people should, our own motto is that we know the market is quite competitive, right? And in a very competitive market, what you need to do to stand out is to have an advantage, an advantage that the other person does not have. In data sessions like this, I've talked about people that got data project management jobs, right, because of their data analytical skills. There are people that have gotten project management jobs, data analysis jobs, because of their business analytical skills. Because a lot of companies know what they want. They might not be able to put it precisely in the job description, right? However, they know what their internal need is. They know that, okay, yes, we need a project manager. However, we want someone that has BA experience. We want someone that's, is able to, that has BA experience, that can do all the deliverables of a BA, or even oversee, just even for overseeing, this. So it's an advantage being able, to also deliver on area of BA or having knowledge of business analysis. You also learn report writing. So the thing is that you are getting 3 packages in one at no extra cost, right? So you'll be learning methodologies like Scrum, Agile, Waterfall as well. So yes, so you get to learn all this, and then you now get to apply it, in a real life project. So what are the potential career paths, and the average salaries? You are well placed, you are well positioned. You can see that none of the salaries I have here is less than 50k, and that's the average. This is not to say that all the jobs out there would pay you 50,000 pounds, right, for the next job. However, depending on the budget of the company, even straight from this bootcamp, you can start earning as much as 60k, 50k, depending on how you also play your parts in it. How you play your parts, how active you are. Because we're not going to promise you that we're not going to promise you that you don't need to do anything. We will do everything for you from start to finish. That will be lying to you, because even if we did everything for you from start to finish, we're not going to be the ones to attend the interviews, right, with you. So it's going to be as practical and hands-on as possible. That's what we are known for. All our boot camps, and that's why we have our success story rates, right? Because we tend to show you how things are done, and then we supervise you as you do it. What are the training perks? What do you enjoy from doing this journey with RKY Careers? You've learned about the career path. You're 100% sure now that, okay, if you talk about visa sponsorship, that's if I need it, right? You don't need to need visa sponsorship. But if you do need visa sponsorship, it ticks the box. If I'm looking for flexible jobs that I can work from home, work remotely, these career paths offer that opportunity. I've learned that, am I aiming for 6-figure salary in the next 5 years, in the next few years, this career path offers that. So having learned all that, who do I go for? Who is the best trainer? Because I'm sure that this is not the only tester session that you have attended, or this is not the only company you have heard that is running this program. But why should I go with RKY Careers? What are the training perks? So these are the perks. So you enjoy 6 weeks of expert-led training, not recordings, because I've had a lot of complaints in the last couple of weeks of people spending so much money to join some trainings, and all they get access to are recordings and not like expert-led or live trainings. But that is not the case with us. With RKY Careers, we actually take you through. There's an opportunity, there's a platform to ask questions, challenge us, go and read up. Whatever it is we've taught you, go and read up, come back to ask us questions. For each of all our classes in all the 6 weeks, you get to go home with a task, with an assignment, with something to test your knowledge, to test your knowledge and to tease your brain as well. That's how we deliver our own expert-led training, right? And after that, we also get to acquire skills and techniques of a project manager, and a business analyst, as well as a PMO, right? So you also get to apply all this. After these 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks of classes, we move on to the live project. This live project is very intense. It's as real can be, because RKY has subsidiaries, right, that get clients projects, right? IT related projects and other types of projects, data migration, sometimes website development. So we have subsidiaries that get these projects, right? And then you get to work on these projects. I've also heard of some people that called and said, oh, I want to know more about this your life projects. That's the reason why I want to join, because I joined a particular, or I joined some boot camps, and their project was not live. I was just submitting deliverables. I was not even sure if it's deliverables we submitted that were used. We're not even sure if, but the truth, our own life project is as life can be. You actually even be meeting with the clients, or the sponsor, to actually understand the project, everything from beginning to the end of the project. You're going to have that end-to-end project. And the funny thing is that even on your first job, you might not actually, you even be surprised that some people that are already on the job, they don't even have end-to-end IT delivery, project delivery experience, because it's either probably, depending on how big the company is, you might just have the segments. You might just be in charge of project planning. Sometimes you might just be in charge of implementation. So it depends. But the thing is that it's better to be better equipped than required, right, for the job, such that you can leverage and expose yourself and explore, multiple opportunities in the job markets. You also have access to our LMS. What is an LMS? Our LMS is our e-learning platform that houses all the resources, and that would be guiding us through the course of the bootcamp. All assignments, all materials, all videos of the classes will be uploaded or are uploaded to the LMS, and you get access to this for up to 12 months after the bootcamp. So say, for instance, I'm working on my dissertation now. I'm actually very busy. I'm not able to attend all classes, or I attend classes, but I need an opportunity to go back to watch what exactly has been taught, such that I can learn at my own pace. If this is your situation, you get access to this. Or probably tomorrow, when yes, we are doing interview prep now, but maybe tomorrow I have an interview. But I remember that this was mentioned by the stakeholder during the interview, but I want to understand it better. You can always go back to the LMS to rewatch this videos and access these resources, right? You also get access to our expert CV and LinkedIn optimization services. Like I said earlier, we are an expert at this. We've been doing this for for a while now, and you also get to enjoy these benefits at no extra cost by joining our bootcamp, meaning that we get to work on your CV, optimize your CV, because at the end of every bootcamp, it's always very important, right, to be able to now describe yourself as a professional in that field, right? Especially if you've played your part and you can defend the experience, right? It's always good, right? A lot of people that even join other bootcamps, right, they come to RKY at the end of their bootcamps for RKY to optimize their CV, highlighting the transferable skills even in their older experience, such that they can actually have a very good chance in the job market. Because of course, when you get to the job market, you are not going to be saying, or it's not just because we expect that you'll be able to justify a very good amount of experience. So it's not going to be just your experience in RKY that you'll be highlighting. At one point or the other, you would have managed projects that you didn't know were real projects. You would have actually also provided solutions and analyzed processes and improved processes, even though you did not know that was what you were doing. And that's what we're going to be doing for you with our expert CV and LinkedIn service as well towards the end of the bootcamp. Also, you get access to our competency tests, so you get to test your knowledge. Before we move to the live projects, you get to attempt quizzes to test your knowledge, really, and to prepare you, for the market. You also you also get to enjoy our interview preparation, which falls under the career support session. So you will hear more about this as we proceed as well. You get a globally recognized certificate of completion as well. RKY is a CPD UK accredited institution, right? So you get a globally recognized certificate of completion from us. You also get UK job reference. So for some of you that you've been trying to apply to jobs, however, they are insisting on UK work experience, insisting on you won't have a problem with this after the bootcamp, because while working with our subsidiaries to deliver live projects, you would also get a verifiable UK work reference from our subsidiaries and from RKY after the bootcamp. Right, so you get to also position yourself for visa sponsorship and six-figure jobs, which I think I already mentioned earlier. So, I mean, for those that are wondering, okay, you said this role is eligible for visa sponsorship. How do I confirm that? So these are the codes, right? You can see not just one, not two. Under project management, we have about 5 codes: an IT project manager, implementation manager, program manager, business and financial project management professionals, business project coordinators and administrators, construction project manager and related, advertising project managers. All these people, if they get a job and the company is willing to sponsor in any of these roles, you can actually get visa sponsorship in this role. So that's something that I believe a lot of us, would want to know. Also, in business analysis is even a bit different. It's on the shortage list. Please, if you have questions, you can start to drop your questions in the chat box. I'll take a break to take your questions. So business analysis is also on the UK shortage occupation list. It's a different list from the normal skilled worker list. It's an extract. So these are jobs that are actually higher in demand than the entire jobs, and this is because we'll talk about why they are high in demand. So what this means is that, say for instance, if the going rate on the skilled eligible occupation list is about 50k, right, that means that a company has to pay you 50k to be able to sponsor you. However, if the role is not on the shortage list, they can pay just 80% of that and still be able to sponsor you. So an evidence of this is this success story you can see on my page. I got this, is it this week or last week, right? A client of ours just got a project management office, a PMO office role with visa sponsorship from Nigeria, right? This also is one of the benefits, like I said, earlier, that you get from the bootcamp. Not only, we also teach you visa sponsorship strategies, and I'm sure that most of you also always see on our page that a lot of our clients actually get visa sponsorship jobs. How do they do it? How do they come about it? This as a result of the fact that we have industry expertise in that area, and we guide our students. First of all, we give them the skills, which is the most important thing. We position them in career paths that have visa sponsorship, which is one of these ones that I'm also talking to you about today. We work on their brand to make them, a recruiter's choice in the job market, right? Which we would also be doing for you in this bootcamp. And then we give you advice, tips, strategies that you can use to actually, and point you at places where you can also get these visa sponsorship jobs. So this is, a success story among many that we have. This is a very recent one, however, of people who have landed visa sponsorship jobs in project management. So what are the skills, what are the soft skills that we would be teaching in the bootcamp? So before I take the soft skills, I would just go to the chat box to take some questions if we have any, just to keep it interactive. Is it possible to move from a support work to project management without Althea Visa yes? I don't know what Althea Visa yes to start to count from again. Sorry, I don't really know what. Maybe you can rephrase the question, You can rephrase the question. Okay, I believe that I've been very clear. We don't have much questions. Fantastic. So let's continue. So what are the tools and the skills that we'll be learning during the course of the bootcamp? So we'll be learning, so the thing is, before we get into the tools we'll be learning now, because I'm sure you can see my screen anyways, this market is a highly tools-based market. And what do I mean by tools-based? It's about what you can use, right? Even for all the roles, it's about tools you can use, really, right? Even if you get like an accountant role or a finance analyst role, for instance, it's not about debits and credits. It's about how you can use tools to achieve whatever it is you can achieve. So that's why you have to be agile. That's why we have bootcamps like this, where we've put together, all this for you. So you're going to be learning MS projects during the course of the bootcamp. So most of the tools actually mirror themselves anyway, which you will learn more about in the bootcamp. But we're going to be exposing you to as many tools as we can, such that you have an advantage in the job markets, because a lot of companies invest in tools. A lot of companies are going through, automation, digitization, and they invest in these tools to make work easier. Like we all know, project management and collaboration tools make work easier. They make planning easier. They make task management easier. So it's about, the tools that you can use and that you can confidently use on your CV as well. So these are a few of the tools that will be exposing you to MS Projects, MS Visio, Lucid Charts, ClickUp, Balsamic, Jira, PowerPoints. You'll also be acquiring, not only technical skills, but also soft skills like collaboration, stakeholder management. Because the truth of the matter is that interviews in the UK is not about, there will be technical aspects of the interview, but the first thing, you need to win their hearts first. And how do you win their hearts? Convince them that what you have on your CV, right, is true. Because anybody can make up CV, right? You can go to ChatGPT and just put something about project management. But how can you defend? It's about you convincing them first that you are actually what you say you are, right? And you have to have had that experience. It's not about reading PMP, or it's not about reading a Google course. You have to have experience. You have to have worked on a project and had a difficult stakeholder. You have to have worked on a project where the scope of the project actually changed, or you have to have the knowledge of how to answer these questions, which you would only get right when you attend boot camps that have work experience opportunities like this, right? So you're going to learn how to work with people, email etiquettes, how to run sprints, how to run Scrum sessions, how to do all these things. And you're also going to be doing them yourself in your life projects. So these are a few of the skills that you'll be able to, confidently do at the end of the bootcamp. What are the methodologies? We're going to be using the Agile, the Scrum, and Waterfall methodologies. You're going to be learning a wide range of methodologies anyways. So you're going to learn all the methodologies that are on the book, right? However, during the life projects, you're going to be using the most in-demand ones, which is the Agile, the Scrum, and the Waterfall methodology. You learn more about this, when we are on the other side. So RKY is a CPD accredited and recognized institution. I said that earlier, but I'm sure some of you might want to know more about that. What does that mean? What that means is that we didn't just wake up one morning and start training people, right? Before we started training people, right, we went through a process of accreditation, we went through a process of assessments, our training content was assessed, our delivery methods were assessed, and we were actually approved to be of international standard, right? And also whatever training you do under RKY forms part of your continuous professional development requirements. For most of us that might already be working in the UK, there's something we call the CPD requirements, which is like the minimum professional developments you're supposed to do on an annual basis. For some of us, our companies actually pay for this training on our behalf if we have that in our HR welfare stuff. So that means that you are showing continuous professional developments. It's about how you are improving on yourself, how you are improving your skills and acquiring more in-demand skills. So this also shows, having a certification like this on your CV also shows to recruiters and employers that you're actually committed to this profession. And why is that? Because a lot of companies pay they pay a lot to get people placed on their roles. Say, for instance, now you get a job for a project manager today that is paying you 60K. The recruiter that got that job the company might have parted away with up to 6K just to get you into that role. And guess what? The company that did that would not want to do it every 3 months, expending that much just to fill positions. So they need to be sure that, okay, the person that we are getting on board, is this person committed to this profession? Or is it just I'm branching, I'm considering, I'm not so sure. But the thing is that if they see that you have invested actually to take courses in that field, it demonstrates to employers that you are committed to that profession. And that would not be a red flag when they are trying to shortlist for the role. Also, is also extra value for your money. So that's what you get, for actually taking this course with us. So, what's the training value? So, based on everything I've said, I'm sure that's if you had to pay for each of all these things I've said separately, I'm sure that you're already thinking, I can't afford this. This is a lot. Like, this is a lot of value because I'm a value-based and value-driven person, really. I've said you're going to get live classes in BA, 3 weekends, Saturday and Sunday of classes in BA. That's business analysis. You're going to get the same 3 weeks of classes, Saturday and Sundays in projects management. You're also going to get a weekend of class in projects management, office and reports writing. Right, that's 7 weeks of classes. That alone, I'm sure if you just put it on Google that you want to take these courses separately, see the price in the UK, right? See the prices that come to your see the prices that you get as results, and then you get to work on a live project. I have seen a couple of institutions, right, where just this life project experience goes for about £500, and just classes alone also go for about £700, £500, right? So, so that's just to help you understand the value of what you get. And the truth of the matter is that RKY isn't just any training institution. We are actually we're actually expert at what we do, and we actually have our clients in mind as well in everything from designing of the curriculum to the courses to the delivery as well, right? So you access to our LMS, of course, that comes at a cost as well because the LMS has to be maintained, it has to be maintained and all that. You also get, everything here, I've already mentioned it. You also get UK work preference for 2023 to date on your CV, right, for this particular bootcamp. So, if you put all this together, really, even discounted, this cost shouldn't go for anything less than £2,500, which I've seen a lot of companies even charge more than for just a BA class, And I get a lot of people, they will go to that and then come back to RKY to say, oh, I paid 2,500 to this particular institution. However, I'm not sure I got what I wanted. I want to re-enroll with RKY. But anyway, instead of going through that and coming back to us, why not make the right choice by enrolling with the right the right training institute from the start, right? So what's our discounted price? Our discounted price is £750 or 750k in naira. However, we have a special CEO discount as well, because we're trying to encourage more people to benefit, from this opportunity. We want to help and impact more people. We want you to refer a friend as well, right? Refer a friend, and each of you, both of you, that's yourself and your friend, 2 people have to enroll, and then they will get £50 extra off, right? Then pay one off. If you're paying one off, right? If you're not paying in installment, because we have installments plans, if you're not paying in installments, you're paying £600, right? And if you are paying in installments, you still get a discount. You get 10% off, and then you pay £675. I'm sure that is really fair enough based on everything you've heard that you would learn, that you would have access to, and that you would be able to enjoy. So, admin, please place the account numbers. So let's try to make our commitments today to enjoy these discounts, right? So even if you're paying in installments, try to secure your slot today, because the truth of the matter is that we try to keep our programs small, because we get a lot of people complain about being in programs that are maybe too big, and they didn't get value for their money and all that. So let's try to make our financial commitments today. Please paste the account number in the chat box for people to have access. Also try to take a screenshot of this page, right, as well. So what is the roadmap to success, or what's the journey going to be like? I've mentioned a lot of things you will get, but my head is full. RKY, how is this going to come? I get a lot of people ask, when is the CV going to come in? When is this going to come in? When is this going to? So, like I said, the 6 weeks of classes is going to, we're going to start with the 6 weeks of classes, after which we'll move on to the competency test, right, to test our knowledge after the theoretical part of the class. Even as theoretical as the theoretical part of the class is, it's still going to be very practical, right? In the current cohort now, I'm sure we've had about how many presentations, even though we are still in the theoretical parts, we've already been working in groups, we've already started presenting, we've already started having different rules. That's how practical we get. We don't just do one day of class, in project management, just one day from morning to night, and that's it. Even from the theoretical part, we still try to, make it as practical, and we get very much involved. There are lots of stakeholders involved on this journey. It's just not myself. It's not just myself. It's not just the facilitators. There are lots of stakeholders that will be supporting you throughout this journey. So after the competency test, we move on to the life projects. You get your roles. We get to the life project part, right? I'm sure we are always sure that by that time you'll be sure of which one you want to actually specialize in, whether project management or business analysis. And then you get your roles, and then you get a mandate for a project, and then you guys get on with it. And of course, we'd have our facilitation session regularly, right? Where you come and present your progress reports to us as well. So after the life projects, after the life project, we move on to the career support part, which is the one, where you get your CV delivered, you get your LinkedIn delivered, and there are lots of sessions, to be honest, like lots of sessions for the first cohort, right? They are in their third month or thereabout. They are rounding up. This week is their last week as well. And we've been having, throughout last week, it was back to back sessions. So just prepare them. Okay, you've done the theoretical part, you've done the life project. How do I put all this together, in a way? How do I put it together to pass interviews? How do I put it together, to now land a job, to thrive on the job? Because we don't just leave you hanging. We don't just end it there. You've finished your project and that's it. We still help you connect it to how you would, apply all these things, all the skills you've gotten in the job market, on the job as well. So here are a couple of success stories that we have had. We've helped people get roles in Nigeria, outside of Nigeria. I'm sure if you go to our page, we have a lot. They can't just feel, we can't have everything on the page. We've had supported people to get visa sponsorship job in business analysis. We've helped people with project management. If you go to our Instagram page, RKY Careers, I'm sure that you'll be overwhelmed with the number of success stories that, we have across roles. So, having said that, I'm sure that you guys are tired of my voice and my face. Do we have any questions? I would like to take your questions now. Please drop your questions in the chat box, because I'm about to hand over to one of our facilitators, to run us through what we'll be enjoying on the project management side of things. If you have questions, drop it in the chat box. Thank you. Is it possible to move from a support work to project management without the visa years to start to count from the beginning? Well, what I know is that, that's my personal opinion. I'm not a lawyer. What I know is that if you're still on the same type of visa, say for instance, you're on a skilled worker visa on a particular job, and you move to a skilled worker visa on another job, your visa will still continue to count. However, seek legal opinion. I'm not a lawyer. Access to LMS after the bootcamp is for what duration? 12 months, up to a year. And I want to believe that none of us will still be job searching in a year's time or a year after the bootcamp. Do you help with the installation of these tools? Yes, we support you, right? Because we support you to get the tools. We point you where you can get the tools. That's the ones you really need, right? But most of them are for instance, Jira, you don't need anybody to support you to install Jira. You go to their sites, you sign up for the free trial version, and that's it. So please, project management in IT training different from PM in construction. Thank you for that question. So the methodologies are the same, in terms of the techniques and all that are the same. However, of course, methodologies. So the methodologies might actually be different, but you'll be learning everything, because our project management facilitator is actually grounded across industries, which is why, I love the RKY Bootcamp. He's been in construction management, he's been in IT, software, and other industries, even NGO and charity and all that. So yes, let's keep that question for him to answer when he has, is the BA experience relevant in the US as well, or is it limited to the UK? Thank you for this question. The truth of the matter is that project management, business analysis, or any technical role, the skill is the same. In fact, we have stakeholders within the bootcamp who are working you know, in the US as well. You know, you can even be in Nigeria and be working in US. You can be in Nigeria and be working in UK. You can be in Nigeria and get project management role in the UK. The skill sets are the same. The skill sets you need, the tools you need to be able to work with are the same. You know, so if you know anybody in the US, you know anybody in any other part of the world that wants to get into this field, it's not limited to UK only. In fact, we even have students that join us from all these locations, from Canada and the US, or people who are intending to move to this location as well. So it's not limited to the UK. Even the bootcamp has nothing to do with UK. The bootcamp is just you learning the technical skills as well as the soft skills and getting experience on your, CV and all that. I thought you said 6 weeks plus 1 week of PMO. Yeah, that's what I said. So that's 7 weeks. Access to LMS is for 1 year after the bootcamp. Okay, we have people answering the questions as well. Thank you, admin. Do we get dedicated mentors who attend to us through the process? Throughout the process of the bootcamp, like I said, there are lots of stakeholders who will be supporting you, throughout the duration of the project. I mean, Ireland, we use euros to pay. How much will I pay? I don't know how much euros to pounds will be or pounds to euros will be, but I know if you give you a link to pay, you can pay with your card and the platform will do its conversion by itself. So it's 750 for all the package. Yes, it's 750. However, you still get an extra discount for joining this program today. If you're paying one-off, you get to pay £600. So make that move now. Make your payments now to enjoy the discount. Do we choose between BA and PM from the start? No, you get to access both. Everything is as a boot camp. When we get to live projects, you choose your roles. However, what we try to encourage, which actually helped a lot of our first cohorts, right, is that we encourage you to try to experience everything. We are not closing the doors. We're not saying, oh, this is BAs, this is PMs. Even though you know your role is a BA on the live projects, when the PMs are working on deliverables, join as a boot camp, as a project team. Join the BAs in doing their wireframes. Join the PMs in doing the reports. It's at the end of the day, the knowledge is yours. Nobody's going to take it from you. RKY is not going to tell you to come and pay for two, right? You already have the access. So that's how we play our game here. We try to give everybody an advantage. So even if you're a PM, when BAs are doing their deliverable, it's a project-based meeting. So you get to join and, but it's up to you. If you want to just stick to the BA-related stuff, fine. But if you want to also experience the PM side, but you have your own role, which you are accountable for. Is project management in healthcare sector different from IT project management? No, it's not. As you can see, most of there's actually NHS in one of the success stories I posted. There are universities, all industries need project managers and business analysts. Sometimes even in those other industries, the project management the projects you might be working on might still be an IT related project, even though you are in NHS, right? And it might not be really, but the truth of the matter is that it's the same skill sets. It's no difference. It's not any difference, right? So what are the payments plan for people who are not paying in full? So for the payments plan, you pay 50% of £675 today, initially, and then you pay balance by September month end. You pay balance, so you can spread the balance across September month end. And if you want to talk more about installments and all that, you can chat us personally in camera. So the work experience mentioned by RKY Careers, is it associated with RKY Careers as a company? This is what I came across on LinkedIn. I don't know what that question is, but we have, like I said, we have subsidiaries. RKY Careers is not even the name that goes on the CV. We have subsidiaries that are registered, that's actually in the business of IT solutions, IT digital solution and all that will be referencing you, that you'll be working with as well during the course of the life projects. Can I work as a hybrid by joining BA and PM teams? I think I already answered that question, but yes, you can. You can work as a hybrid. You can even have a role of the hybrid such that you're actually accountable for the two. And even if you are just a BA on the life projects, you still have access to join the PM meetings and learn everything they're doing there as well. It's all about your availability and how much you're ready to give into it. It's going to be intense, don't get me wrong. However, it's just like getting a job, spending just 6 months on the job, and coming out of that job and being able to justify 5 years of experience. That's what it's going to be. But you get what you give into the process. Is it 750 plus reference and certificate of completion? The cost I've mentioned, there's no other hidden cost. Everything I've mentioned, is under the costs I've mentioned. There is no outside of or inside of. Must we pay the 600K today to enjoy the discounts? Not necessarily. However, we encourage you to pay today, because as soon as we are sold out, or as soon as we have reached our limits, we'll stop taking, would either stop taking, what's it called, bookings, or would increase our prices to reduce the number of bookings. So you don't want to miss your slots. When is the next bootcamp starting? Thank you for that question. So the next starting date is September 16th, right? That's when the next cohort will start. Is the BAP. So you have until then to make your initial, you have until then to make your secure your slot and all that. However, if you pay today, you get to enjoy the discounts. There's no guarantee that you'd enjoy the discounts if you pay later. Is the BAPM going to be held at the same time when the bootcamp starts? No, it's not. I explained that it's 3 weeks of classes each, right, before we move on to the live projects. Wow, we have lots of questions, and I like it. It means that, people are following. Hello, I have completed MSc International Business, so I want to get into the IT industry, and I'm fresher as well. Can you please suggest to me which is the better side in project administration or business analysts? Well, to be honest, I can't say there's a better side or not better side. But the good thing is that you don't even have to worry about that at this point. Just enroll for the bootcamp. You get to enjoy all. You get to enjoy and get access to both. By the time you now get, into it and you say, okay, PMs do this, BAs do, I think I find this more interesting. Then you can choose which one you want to specialize in. But they are both equally, all the benefits I've talked about in terms of career prospects, they both have the same career prospects. When is the start date for the PMBA, PMO? The start date for the entire bootcamp is September 16th. However, I would have a schedule come out as to when the exact or the different classes would happen. How much is the bootcamp? I think I already mentioned about the price. It's £750 if you're paying. It's £750. However, you enjoy a discount of £600 if paying in full, or you enjoy 10% off if paying in installments. Okay, thank you. Admin has also pasted it in the chat box. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for all the questions. It's better to get the questions right than for me to ask for questions and it looks like I've just been talking to myself all along. How long is one expected to complete the whole cycle from training to CV and LinkedIn? The whole cycle is about 3 months to 3 months, 2 weeks. So that's about 3 months, 2 weeks. However, from when we get to the execution stage of our projects, we'll start getting your CVs and all that, ready for delivery, such that, by the time we're getting to the career support session, you're actually at that stage as well. So we want everything to be in sync. We want to, because we won't be teaching you things related to career support at the beginning when you are not even there yet, right? So you need to get the experience that you want to defend and justify when you get to the interviews. Can we just do the theory without the hands-on projects? Whichever one you choose, but the thing is, it doesn't affect the price. If you feel that, I need just the theory, enroll. When we get to the hands-on projects part, it's up to you. Okay, at what stage do you get the CV and LinkedIn ready? So you get the CV and LinkedIn when your project gets to the execution stage. Because don't forget, we have said that on the CV and LinkedIn, we're going to be adding experience to it. And we do not want to add experience that you have not gained to the CV we are delivering to you. So, okay, thank you so much. Let's proceed because we have, we still have a lot to go. So you meet our first team of facilitators. So we have Abdul here right now. Abdul is a seasoned project management facilitator. He has PMP, is also a Scrum Master, right? And he's skilled across industries, the IT, construction, public health, and humanitarian interventions, and is PMI certified. And to be honest, is one of our very wonderful facilitators. But I'll let him do the introduction and take it from here. So Abdul, please, if you are here, thanks for joining. Please unmute yourself, and let's have what you've prepared for us today.
Thank you very much. My name is Abdul. I'm a project management manager and management consultant. I've been working for uh, close to 9 years now, implementing projects in various fields. Like Ruki said, I worked in construction. I've worked in humanitarian interventions, the projects in various roles. In, please, if at any my attention to it. So what I'm going to do now is walk us through what we are going to be, a brief, like a snapshot of what we're going to be learning on the project management aspect of. First off, I'm going to start with why why you need to study project management. There are a couple of advantages to studying it. I know that Ruki has gone over many of them, but again, I've heard this question from several people saying, what exactly is the difference? What difference does it make to me personally and professionally if I study project management? Well, from this boot camp, you will not only be studying the fundamentals of project management, you'll be having hands-on and implementing projects. So at the end of it, guaranteed that if you pay attention and contribute actively in this boot camp, at the end of the day, you're expected to have people communicating, implementing projects, structuring your reports, structuring projects, structuring communications. A lot of the things about project management is creating structures, and not just creating just structures, creating them in a way that they work seamlessly and there's a flow into each one. Hitch, right? You're expected to be able to manage risks more efficiently. Um, you'll be able to assess risks. You'll be able to um, predict. You'll be able to forecast. You'll be able to prepare for risks before they become events. You'll be able to um, implement plans to minimize, to mitigate them or minimize the impact of those risks on the project that you're working on. You'll be taught different forms of risk, different ways of addressing those risks, whether you'll be handling the risk yourself, whether you'll be handing them off to someone else, whether you'll be transferring them, or whether you'll just simply ignore them if they are insignificant. You'll be working, you automatically, you're supposed to have career growth once you know how to implement or manage projects efficiently. It places you heads and because there are jargons, there are terms, that will break down things that look technical. They will be broken down and explained to you using real examples, using real projects. You'll be able to ask these questions relative to experiences that use those experiences to explain, to create examples so that you will be able to view them, you'll be able to visualize those using real life experiences that you've had. You're also supposed to be able to lead, be able to contribute to teams, lead teams. You will be, during your practicals, you will be forced to make presentations on behalf of your team. At the end of the day, we're expected to certify you have passed as passing through this bootcamp. So you cannot simply hide your way to be participate, and you want us to be certain that you have gained a lot of knowledge, which means that you will be participating, you'll be conducting, you'll be having meetings to improve on your reporting, to check your templates and things like that, which means that you have to be able to work with your teams. You have to be able communicate, to cooperate with you, so that you will be able to implement projects efficiently, working together, despite that you are not in the same location. Also, your communication skills will improve. Again, because you will be taught different ways of sharing reports, learning how to share reports, how to share updates, how to again, in most of the classes, you will be you'll be given assignments. You'll be asked to create or come up with examples using terms that have been taught to you. Come up with examples or solve certain problems. Right? You will have to write out assignments, be able to communicate better, because you will also be sharing updates, because you'll be working with your teams to not only implement the project, you also have to work together to put your updates together to present them. And whoever is presenting, you're representing your group. It means that you would have worked with everyone to collect information across board, to harmonize that information so that you don't have conflicting information, and to structure your reports in a way that your whatever it is that you're communicating, it is clear. It is clear to whoever is seeing it, whoever is reviewing it, right? You're also supposed to be able to improve in your cross-functional collaborations, because you are not only working as a project manager, you're taking the roles of scrum master, you're working with business analysts, you're working with developers, designers, and you're also going to be discussing with your stakeholders, which means that you are going to get used to managing different people with different roles, different capacities, different responsibilities, and you'll have to get used to being able to manage communication across board, right? Again, it increases your global opportunities, regardless of what your skill is, regardless of where you're coming from. Once you know how to in various places, and like the questions that we've had concerning or IT or construction, right? The fundamentals of project management remain the same. What makes the difference is the kind of experience that you've had in the other role, maybe the kind of jargon that they speak. All you have to do if you want to work in any role is learn their processes, learn their jargons, work, pay attention to what they do. And if you have a solid foundation in project management, you can work anywhere. Basically, and I mean, I am a living example of that. I am living testimony of that. And at every point that I have worked, I have not only worked with them and gained experience with them, I have actually excelled in them, such that you can go to any one of my workplaces and say and mention my name, and you'll be told, oh, this person was great at his job, right? So that answers that question. Now, on this bootcamp in project management, what we are going to be starting with will be basic definitions, basic descriptions. For instance, you'll be taught the differences and the meanings of projects, project management, operations, programs, and project teams. You'll be taught the difference between projects and programs and portfolio. You'll be taught how to differentiate between them. What exactly is it that you're doing? What exactly are the expectations that you have as a project manager? What are you supposed to do? What role are you supposed to play? And what exactly is the uniqueness of being a project manager? What are you expected to deliver, so that you have a clear view of what it is that you're doing as a project manager? If you're leading a team, what are your own expectations? Are you supposed to know everything, or are you supposed to know enough just that you will be able to communicate seamlessly with everyone? Are you supposed to be able to, what are you supposed to be able to contribute in any other departments, right? So you will be learning this. You will have to understand these fundamentals, these descriptions, and also, because while you're working, these terms will come up, and you need to know what exactly is being spoken about when each of these terms are used. You don't confuse projects with operations or with portfolios or with programs, right? Because they have unique applications, they have unique definitions. Again, one of the key things that you'll be learning as a project manager is that a project is divided into, or is made up of, three basic aspects, which are your scope, your cost, and your schedule. Your scope basically is what is it that you're doing, defining what you're supposed to be doing, and as a result of that, also defining what it is that you will not be doing. So it is basically describing the boundaries of what you will be working on, so that you will know exactly what it is and how to disaggregate the jobs that you're doing, how to break it down, right? Then you'll be talking about the costs. The cost aspect is how much are we spending on this project? I'm sure that many of us are familiar with that. However, you will be able to relate your costs to your scope and your schedule, which is the third part. This third part is your schedule, which is how long do we have to implement this project. Now, as a project manager, you don't handle these things separately. They have to work together. So you have to be able to manage all three together so that you don't run out or you don't go beyond what's expected, your constraints at any point. You cannot only focus on the schedule without working on your scope. You have to be able to relate your time to the amount of work that you're doing, to the exact work that you're doing. In fact, as a matter, you will be able to break down your tasks into smaller tasks and be able to assign time to each of them so that you will know exactly how long you'll be spending on each task, right? You will also be managing the cost aspect of it, because as you're implementing, as you're monitoring the scope, you also need to ensure that the amount that is being spent on your project is not is not going over the budget that needs to be spent, right? So you will learn to manage these three things together so that you will be able to deliver an effective project. You'll be able to keep the project on track without displeasing or without losing profit, losing track of your project, or not implementing your project completely. Again, you're going to be learning what the project life cycle is. A project life cycle is basically 5 stages, which is the initiation part. As a project manager, you need to be able to know what needs to be put together before a project can start. What are the features that are comprised of the initiation stage of a project, right? You need to know that. You need to know what the planning stage is. Your planning stage is basically you're putting together all of the resources. What are these resources that you need? What do you need to put together? What documentation are we looking at? Again, how do you know that you have moved from initiation to planning, right? Maybe initiation, you're talking about what you need to put together before you even decide that the project needs to be implemented. The planning stage is, okay, you have decided that the project needs to be implemented, right? What do you need to put together to implement it? Then there's the execution stage where you have put together everything and you have started implementing the project, you have started implementing your tasks. You need to be able to manage that. You need to be able to monitor those tasks to ensure that those tasks are being done accordingly. And when we say accordingly, we're not only saying doing them as at the right time, you're also talking about doing them the right way. So you're monitoring the quality of execution, you're also monitoring the quality of the outcomes, right? Then that is where you get to the monitoring and control. The monitoring and control is what exactly is it that we are supposed to be achieving? What kind of quality do we expect to see? If we are not seeing those qualities, how do we change them? Then the control part is we have seen the issues, we have observed some issues, we know how we are going to address them. How do we apply those corrections to them to implement so that to make the changes that we want? And how do we ensure that we have now moved from the issues that we have to the ideal situation that we should be in? Then the closing aspect of it. The closing a project is basically saying we have implemented every part of this project. You have ensured that the client has accepted the project, saying this is what I asked for. This has been completed, right? You want to ensure that all of the documentation has been completed, all of the processes were done properly, your quality assurance has been done, and you have assured your client that the quality and the outcome that they have requested for has been completed, and they have signed off on that. That's your closing stage. As the project manager, you need to be able to implement every stage of this a project this way. You need to be able to do them sequentially and do them at the right way. Again, while you are implementing projects and on each project life cycle, at each stage of the project life cycle, there are knowledge areas that one needs to be aware of. And there are up to 10 knowledge areas. Now, each of these 10 knowledge areas apply to every stage of the project management life cycle. You cannot remove them. And as you can see, I have listed them out. There's the integration management, which is basically what needs to come together for us to be able to implement this project, whether in terms of resources, whether in terms of human manpower, machines, resources, finances, and a lot of other things that could come together. There's the scope management. How do we ensure that we are doing the right thing? We are not doing outside. We are not going outside of what we should be doing, and we're not falling short of it either. Right? There's the time management of it. How do we know that we are doing this at the right time? How do we know that we are prioritizing the right things? How do we know that we are not doing spending more time than we should be? Right? There's the cost aspect of it. How do we know we're spending the right amount? How do we ensure that? Just give me a second. Can everyone still see my slides?
No.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and share again now. Please let me know if you can see them now.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yes,
can everyone see project management? Cool. Can everyone see project management knowledge areas?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So again, I was running through each of the knowledge areas that need to be paid attention to or need to be addressed at every stage of the project management life cycle. There's the quality management too, just like I mentioned before. How do you ensure that the quality of what you're delivering is what is required by the client? How do you measure that? How do you keep track of it to ensure that you don't fall short of the quality to the point that it affects your project, and you don't go way above it, such that it starts to affect your schedule or your costs, right? Your expenses. Then there's the resource management. How do you manage your resources? Who is in charge of your resources? What resources do you need? How do you get them? How do you apply them to the project? How do you track the application of those resources to ensure that you are not applying the wrong resources in the wrong places? Right amount of each resources in each places. There are different templates that you're going to be working with that will help you to track what exactly is it that we're doing. How do we know that we're doing the right thing? Again, you will be giving updates about how much money has been expended on your project, how much are you expecting to spend, what are the things that you think related to cost and resources, right? Again, are there skills? Are there skills that you don't have on your team that you need to build? How do you come together to ensure that the right project, right? Can you teach each other? Is it a new tool that you need to learn to use? Is it, again, many of the tools that you will be using, it is not every single one of them that you will be put in a class to learn. Some of them you will simply learn them because it is important to learn them, right? It's important to learn them, and you need those tools to be able to implement part of those projects. Because of that, you can come together and say, okay, this is the tool that we need. We are going to come together as a group. We are going to learn this, and you will be guided through learning those tools, and you will be able to implement those tools on your project. It is not every tool that will say, come and learn this. Most of the time, you will realize, oh, this is why we need this tool at the end of the day. Then, and for me, that is the best way to learn anything. When you realize the importance of it and you say, oh, okay, it wouldn't hurt to actually learn this, and so that you'll be able to implement your project on time, right? There's the communications management. Who are you working with? What kind of information do they need? You're working with experts that are implementing your tasks. You need to give them strategic information. You need to give them comprehensive information. You need to give them descriptions that they can understand. As a project manager, you need to be able to ensure that everybody is getting what they need. Your team members need to know what it is that they need to do, the kind of updates that they need to provide to you. Your stakeholder is looking for, you are going to have elicitation meetings where you are going to be getting information about what is it that you want. We have seen this project proposal that you have, but what exactly is your intention behind it? You need to be able to communicate with them, ask the right questions, right? At the end of the day, you need to be able to also give them updates. What is happening with my project? How far along are we? Do we have any issues that I can help you to resolve? That is managing communication. As the project manager, you have to always be on top of communication. You have to ensure that nobody is missing out on any key information that they need to be able to implement their own part of the task. Then there's the risk management. What kind of risks do we have? what are the ways of addressing those risks? How do you ensure that that risk is not going to impact your project in a negative way, right? What are the different ways of analyzing those risks to even determine how it will impact the project? Because it's when you understand how to assess a risk that you know how it's going to impact a project, then you can address it the right way. There's procurement management. How do you manage your vendors? Who are your vendors? How do you even communicate with them? How do you ensure that you're getting the right price for the right items for the right price so that you don't lose track of cost, schedule, resources? How do you know that you're getting the right things from the right person? How do you know that you're getting the updated resources, whether it is updates, whether it is plugins, whether it is physical items, or whatever it is? You have to keep track of these things as a project manager. Then finally, there's the stakeholder management. Stakeholders basically are people that can affect your project. Everybody can be a stakeholder. Even people that are not on the project with you can be stakeholders, like the government. You might be implementing a project and a government policy comes up and you are not able to proceed because you have not kept yourself informed of those things. You have not kept yourself abreast of current information and things like that. You have to be able to know who are the people that can affect this project, who are the people that this project affects. How do I coordinate with them so that everybody is on the same page and we do not lose track of each other? If someone has a discomfort or a dissatisfaction at one point, how do you get that information from them? How do you communicate it? How do you even assess the impact on your project, and how do you communicate it to everyone else to ensure that you are on track and you are not doing the wrong things? Then there are project management methodologies. Please let me know again if you can't see my slide. The project management methodologies are of different types, and they are used for different reasons. You don't simply pick a methodology because you feel like. Most of the time, it is the project that you are implementing that determines what method should we use in implementing this project. Okay. It seems like my slides are not changing.
It still changed, yeah.
Oh, it changed? Okay.
Yeah, it changed.
Anyway, I'm going to reshare it. I'm going to reshare
Yeah.
it. So
it's
yeah. So let me know if you can see. Okay, cool. So again, it is usually the kind of project you're implementing that determines what method you use. Depending on how simple it is. Very simple projects that with stages or steps that are clear, that are drawn out, and have been implemented several times. You know what the risks are. You know exactly at what point you are supposed to implement, at what point you are supposed to implement each part, what risks you are expecting, what timelines, what you can easily describe what the end-to-end process will look like. You can use your waterfall, right? Again, depending on what your outcome is supposed to be, depending on what your project is supposed to be, maybe you're looking at an iterative project. Maybe it's a discovery project where you don't know what the end is supposed to be. You don't know what the end goal is going to look like. You only know that you are looking for a certain solution. Or maybe it is just a big project that you have to divide into smaller units and you have to keep reviewing and go. Then you can apply different agile methodologies. We are going to discuss these methodologies. We are going to use illustrations to discuss this methodology so you'll understand what it is that they prioritize and why we need each of them. Finally, just like I said earlier, you'll be making use of several tools. You'll be making use of collaboration tools like ClickUp, Basecamp, Google Suite, and you have templates. Again, these templates, they are supposed to guide you. They are supposed to guide you in knowing how to disaggregate information. What information do we need on this project? What do I need to present? How do I present this information in a way that it is clear to anybody that is reading it or that is listening to it or that is seeing it? How do I ensure that anyone that sees this understands what I am communicating, understands the implication that I am communicating, and things like that? So whether you're trying to just enhance your career prospects, you're trying to get better at communicating, get better at leading, and get better at using different tools, or at least explore the usage of them, I think that learning the fundamentals of project management and joining this bootcamp is going to help greatly. One other thing that I would like to add at the end of this is it would also help very much, right? If you are committed to this. I think that's one thing. It has definitely been mentioned, but again, you have to be committed to it. There is a lot of participation that is required for it. So you need to be sure that you are learning the right thing, that the knowledge that we are passing across has been impacted. So you need to work with your team. You need to work with us. You need to take the time to implement your projects, to do your tasks, so that at the end of the day, it will not only be us who has gotten value for the money that you pay. So I'm going to stop there for now and hand off to Rookie. Thanks, Rookie.
That's just to let you see, like, so Abdul is going to be the project. I mean, it's the project management facilitator, right? That will be driving us through, like, the project management side of things, both during the course of the theoretical aspect as well as on the live project as well. You can see the kind of fantastic person and teacher is. So if you have questions for Abdul before we move on to the business analysis part, we'll just make that brief. Right. So if you have questions for Abdul, but I mean, I'm sure you want to keep your questions for probably when you're on the other side, right? Yeah. So now we'll be having a very brief one on business analysis. We have a very seasoned facilitator as well in that area. Her name is BME, but she's not present today. I think she's facilitating one of our other sessions. Right, so I'll just be taking us briefly on what we need to know as a business, or what business analysis is all about, right? Because I think a lot of people have the ideology or the belief that, business analysis is a bit tough, project management is the easy one, But yeah, you still get to debunk a lot of all these myths, right? On the bootcamp, I'll just give you a brief into it. So, what is business analysis, right? Or who is a business analyst, or what do business analysts do? So business analysts identify, problems, and try to find solutions to these problems. They gather requirements, they identify business needs and requirements and try to provide solutions to this. What are solutions? These solutions are projects that, they now work on alongside the other cross-functional teams like project managers, product owners, developers, subject matter experts, right? So when there's a project like that to be done, the role of a business analyst is to have a very good understanding of what the problem is. I have a very good understanding of the requirements. What does the sponsor, what does the business want to be done? What do they need to be done? So they need to have a very good understanding of the problem at hand that we are trying to solve. Okay, the problem could be that RKY does not have a digital presence, or RKY does not have a website. So what is the solution? What do I want the website to look like? What are the features it should have? What are the functions? That's what business analysts actually gather requirements, from the clients, from the sponsor, such that they can interpret these clients or relate these clients to the IT departments or the subject matter experts that would actually build or, complete the execution of this solution that is being worked on. So the good thing about business analysis is that, business analysts don't just even work on projects. They actually work on products as well. They work on process improvements. They work on system development. They work across industries as well, just like project managers, right? So business analysts would continue, and project managers, they will continue to be in demand. Why? Because a lot of companies globally are going through change. What has actually called for this change? A lot of things. There's been a lot of changes to the way things are done generally, both, in terms of structure and in terms of systems. A lot of companies are going hybrid, are going remote, right? Especially post-COVID. The post-COVID occurrence is still having impact in the way things are being done generally. A lot of companies that saw that, okay, things moved on smoothly during COVID, right? They might not have made a decision immediately to go fully remote, but a lot of them are still making decisions based on these events and a lot of other events. There's a lot of costs that goes on to running a physical location. A lot of companies want to go remote because of this as well, or they want to reduce, the number of times or the number of people that come to the office. Right. A lot of companies too also want to go digital. There are a lot of inventions going on. AI today, this tomorrow, right? And companies don't want to get redundant in their processes, right? There's always something new to be implemented. There's always a new technology that is better than the existing one. And those that were not even tech savvy before are trying to get their system. Because the thing is, you don't want to stay manual, right? Because it also saves time and at the end of the day would increase profitability and reduce expenses, right? If you can get a tool that would do something that probably you would employ 2 or 3 people to do, right? It's better to actually use the tool to do it. And how do you now transition from the sport you had now to that sport that's, you get to start using that tool? Those are the things they call projects, right? So it could be process improvements, it could be a new development entirely, it could be system changing from Excel to even Power BI, as simple as that. Unlike probably where a lot of us where we are from, where this will just be business as usual, right? Is the people that are actually going to be using the tool that would also do the process. However, in global areas and in countries like UK, US, Canada, and the likes, right? They actually implement these solutions via a project, right? And when that is done, it means that a business analyst has to be there to understand the problem. It means that they will also need a project manager to manage the project. Also, in the case of products as well, a lot of products are being made, right? A lot of fintech companies, a lot of tech products, there are a lot of even non-tech products also. We need business analysts as well, to actually evaluate the current states of things, what the future state of things are, gap analysis, and help in reducing redundancies and all that. So that's why business analysts, right, would always continue to be, in demand. And like I think I've already answered the question on this page. So why are business analysts in shortage, right? The essential of every success. Business analysts are essential to the success of every organization, right? Because there's always a change going on. Change is the only thing that is permanent, right? So long as there's something that requires change, that requires transition, that requires transformation, which I believe is a word that a lot of us have gotten used to. Please mute yourself if you are not the one presenting. Thank you. So a lot of us have gotten used to like if you resume in a company today, all you'll be hearing about is transformation, change, transition, and all this. Even though that might not be your role in the company currently, all this, there's a business analyst that is a mastermind of this change. Not one, it could even be, we could have about 5 business analysts on one project, right? There will be a project manager that would be the one managing the resources and everything, right? So because things are done, there has to be documentation in place, there has to be processes, right, that guide this change and guide this transition in order to make it smooth and in order not for it not to affect business as usual. Because regardless of whether a company wants to change or not, they don't want their profitability to reduce, they don't want customers to have problems just because they are going through a change, right? So that's why they have to have the appropriate persons. I think I've already explained why business analysts are in shortage, right? There would always still continue to be change. So long as technology is still an in thing, so long as there's still data about new things to come, there would always still be needs for business analysts and project managers, right? So what are the fundamentals of business analysis? The first step in business analysis is to have an understanding of the enterprise. You have to do an enterprise analysis. You understand the current business environment and identify the problems that need to be solved, right? So that's the first thing to do. The next thing to do is to plan and manage, so manage the projects. And then the next thing is to come up with the solution and implement this solution. And then the next step, right, is to gather the requirements, analyze the requirements, and get ready for the implementation of the projects. Right. So what are the possible roles that we can get? Or what are the possible job titles we can apply for? I'm sure some of you will be surprised that even after this bootcamp, not everybody will get roles as business analysts. That's if business analyst is your area of interest. Not everybody would be called business analyst. Some will get roles that are like enterprise analyst, enterprise solution architect, enterprise architect, solution architect, change analyst, technical analyst, systems analyst, business improvement analyst, business transformation manager, change manager, requirements engineer. They're all still the same. What you are required to do is still the same. If you go to LinkedIn, for instance, today and type business analyst roles, you see all sorts of titles. Those titles might actually set you off balance, right? But if you look through the job description, you will see that is exactly what you've learned in the bootcamp: documentation, gathering requirements, writing user stories, doing epics, doing features and all. Those are the things that you are required. These are just a few of some job titles that you might see out there. There are also some very system specific business analyst roles. Say for instance, Salesforce business analyst, SAP business analyst. So those ones require that you are also able, you're an expert in this field. However, there are just lots of jobs across these different varieties that you get to, be able to apply for at the end of the bootcamp. All right. So what are the industries also? The business analysts are required across industries. In the IT space, we need business analysts. We have roles that are like IT business analyst, data business analyst, finance business analyst, business system analyst, functional business analyst, and healthcare business analyst, and and the likes. So there's no limit to, so even if you have previous another industry experience, right, there's a way you can blend this with whatever skills you now get out of the bootcamp, right, to create a perfect brand for yourself, right? So who can be a business analyst? Because I get a lot of people that wonder, like, business analyst is a bit technical. Oh, business analyst, business analyst that I don't want to do calculations. I don't want to do this. I can't code. I can't do all that. Yeah, well, that's one thing that I'm sure most of us already know. You don't need to be able to code, right? Or you don't need to know or like mathematics to be able to actually take any of this role, even though they're tech roles, right? So who are the people that might find business analysis, attractive, or who are the people that can explore business analysis? To be honest, anybody can. Anybody can switch from anything. We've had people switch from nursing, healthcare assistant, zero experience, fresh from NYSC, fresh from graduate school, to becoming business analyst, even senior ones, right? Senior business analyst. So you can do as well, right? So, but I'll just highlight a few roles that we've seen people actually move, from. So we have the business development manager. As a business development manager, you have to have stakeholder management skills. You need to be able to talk to clients, manage clients, and the likes. Those are skills. Those are fields that's so if you're a business development manager here today, you're actually in a good place to actually consider business analysis. Relationship managers, account officers, sales and marketing professionals, PMO analysts, project manager, tech writer, customer service, technical support person, finance professionals, business professionals, management consultants, finance, insurance, banking professionals, admin and operations as well. To be honest, any professional, anybody with keen interest, if you play your part, if you're joining this bootcamp and you play your part, and business analysis is your area of interest, we'll be making a business and a very good business analyst out of you before the end of this bootcamp. So, what are the soft and technical skills that are required? I'm sure that you're wondering, what do I need? What do I need to become a business analyst, or what skills do I need to have? You need to be able to analyze, you need to be able to think critically, you need to be able to manage change. You need all this. Don't worry, we're going to teach you during the course of the bootcamp. So long as you are someone who can manage stakeholders, right? Who can manage stakeholders, and manage resources, manage people, manage processes, business analysis is a good one for you. So yeah, we've come to the end of, today's session. Thank you to everyone who joined from the start to this moment. I can see a couple of people who have seen their faces and I've seen their keen interest from the start to this moment. Thank you everyone for staying on the call, and I'm sure that you have lots of questions again, and I'll be happily going to the chat box to see if I have questions to answer. So now that you've heard about project management, now that you've heard about business analysis, you've heard about the opportunity to actually learn the two, and make your choice of which one you really want much later in the, much later in the journey. Do you have any questions for me? And we've told you as well that RKY is your best bet if you're looking if you're looking to transition, right? We are your best bets, on the journey, right? There's a lot of information out there, to be honest. I feel for those that are trying to make up their mind about which institution should I go with, but like we've already told you, this is what we're going to offer you. You're going to have to play your parts, right? We're not promising you that just by clicking and making payments, that's all you need to do. No, we're all going to work together, to we're all going to work together to achieve the desired goal at the end. Wow, I don't have any questions. I'm very good. I'm a good facilitator, right? Everybody understands. Everybody's okay, right? Do you train on the use of PM softwares? I'm into construction and trying to go into construction projects management. I noticed there is a lot about cost and schedule tracking. Okay, so about construction projects management, right? So because of the nature of the bootcamp, we'll be training you across projects management generally. However, because it's going to be virtual, right? We will be able to have a construction project as a live project. So the live projects we're going to be having is going to be related to IT, right? However, it's the same methodology. You'll be learning about it during the class itself. However, when we now move to the practical parts, you'll be learning more about the tools, more about the generic IT projects management. I don't know if that answers your question at all. When is the business analyst course started? How long does it take? And how can I know the fee for the training? Okay, so I'll be moving back to the slide where I have the cost of the training. The course start date is right, is September 16th, like I said, right? At the moment, you can be able to get, the start date for each of them. However, we've not concluded on which one will come first or which one will come next. But it's 7 weeks of classes, right? 3 weeks in projects management, 3 weeks in business analysis, and 1 extra week in projects management office, right? So that's the cost of the class on my screen. Right. So the start date is September 16th. Please drop your question in the chat box. Thank you very much. Okay, and I think we don't have any more questions. We've been able to answer everybody, right? So if we don't have questions, can we get, feedback, or can we? Okay, I'm glad to be a part of this session. I'm a certified Scrum Master, and I will be interested in the BA class as it seems Scrum and BA are in line. Thank you, Olatunji, for that. Yes, like I said, during the course of the live projects, the Scrum Masters work with the BA. However, you have access to both, the projects management, the BA, and the Scrum, and all that, and all of the roles, right? So how much do we pay in Naira? So, I'm sure you have an idea of what the exchange rate is right now, right? Of pounds to Naira. Right, so I understand your class is easier than the previous one I attended. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I wish I understand. I don't understand that, but yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, I believe that we've been very clear about what our processes are, what the price is, what the price, is, and all that. Right. So for anybody that has further information to know more about the installments, we've put the account numbers here. Try to copy it, right, so that you can have it to, you can also send us an email. on our email, support@rkycareers.com. You can send us a message on Instagram. I'm sure you must have gotten the link to this meeting through a platform or the other. You can reach out to us again through that platform. Okay, there was another one I attended, but this one is far better. Well, thank you so much, A Monday, for the feedback. We appreciate that. We can't wait for you to actually enjoy what the full program is going to be all about. It's going to be very hands-on, very practical, and we are going to be involved from the start to the finish. I'm someone who prefers action rather than theory, but doesn't really fancy too much mathematics. Which of these courses would you recommend for me, please? Well, if you fancy action rather than theory, then this bootcamp is for you, because there's going to be more of action than theory. Even the theoretical part of the class is going to be as practical as possible. From the first week, you're already getting projects, assignments, tasks, and all that. How many weekends is the training? So thank you for the question. The classes itself, right, is going to be for 7 weeks, right? So and then we move on to the live projects. So within that 7 weeks of classes are going to hold 4 to 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, after which we move on to the live projects. Once we move on to the live projects, now it's going to be like real work, right? So you guys will decide within your projects team when is the best time to have your meetings, right? However, we would have periodic sessions for progress reports. You also have periodic meetings with the people with the mentors that will be supporting you on the live projects as well. And yeah, so thank you for that. Thank you. I hope I answered your question. Is the PM and BA going to be held together? So I believe these questions are coming from people that are just joining, right? Because I believe I've explained all of this. So there's going to be 6 weeks of classes, 3 weeks in project management, and another 3 weeks in business analysis, after which we'll move on to the live projects. So thank you so much, everyone that has joined and has stayed till this moment. Thank you for being a part, of the taster session. We can't wait to have you on board. Try to secure your slots before we get, before all the slots are gone. Try to also, try to secure your slots before all the slots are gone. We can't wait to have you on the other side.